Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Thank you for tuning in, and I need a haircut. I know we're just getting into things right away. No extended intro, no. Well, now I'm finding a way to just make it longer than it needs to be right now. But yeah, we're just addressing the point directly. I need a haircut. Now you might be saying, Reviewbrah, didn't you get the memo? Didn't you don't you know that the barber shops are starting to reopen now? There's no need to do this anymore, right? Just go get a haircut. Well, you see, here's the thing. Number one, I still have my concerns about getting infected and all that stuff. Number two, though, I've been cutting my own hair long before any sort of pandemic or any of that ever began. I've always wanted to cut my own hair, and I am by no means an expert. I make plenty of mistakes, but it's something that I enjoy doing. I just enjoy taking care of it to the best of my abilities, anyway, which granted is nothing close to perfect. But I enjoy doing it, I have fun doing it, and I just try to learn as I go. So when I need to have a little bit of a trim, I just try to do it myself. I think number one, it saves some money, it saves some expenses. Because I try to cut it like once or twice a month usually, and some barbers they charge anywhere from like 20 to 40 bucks per time. It adds up. So number one, it's a way that you could save some money. Number two, I know exactly how I want my hair to be, so I have that creative control. Number three, I'm very introverted. I mean, I just feel very uncomfortable being in the barber's chair. I don't know. I've always, so it just helps with those anxieties, and it's just something I enjoy doing. So here's what we got. I want to just give myself a little bit of a trim. I think that my hair is just getting a little shaggy, and I thought, why not? I think it's time for a haircut. This isn't going to be like any sort of big how-to video or anything. So if you want to try to compete in the hair Olympics, like yours truly, that was a really bad joke. Forget about that one. But if you're looking for any sort of detailed guide, I mean, you'll see what I'm doing, but this isn't like any sort of big how-to video. It's just like, I'm going to cut my hair, have the camera on, and why not? So number one, when you're trying to get a little bit of like a haircut, I think the most important thing is you have to know what is it that you want to achieve. It's like, when it comes down to hair and cutting hair, it's like, all right, are you looking to just make it a little shorter? Or are you looking to style it in a certain way? Are you looking to impress someone? Are you looking to try to fit in or look, good? Or do you just want a little less hair? It's like, what is it that what do you want the objective to be? For me, I don't care if it's uneven. I don't care if it's, not the most aesthetically pleasing thing. I just want it to be a little shorter than it is right now. So, first and foremost, you'll see how it is. You can see that the hair is getting a little long. It is. It's certainly, my hairstyle, the last time I did any sort of hair type video was in, God, I think it was 2018. And it really hasn't changed all that much since then, but like, if I grow it out, I could kind of be like that one guy from Shrek, right? What is it, Lord Farquaad? Whatever his name was. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe I should just do that. Just grow it out more and just rock it, shamelessly just now. You can see in the back it's a little uneven at times. I don't really care. Again, I'm just doing, you live and learn. So anyway, I'm going to try and cut a little bit off here, a little bit off here, a little bit off the back. And you don't need too many tools at your disposal. What I'm going to be using is, I'm going to be using this comb today. It's a different looking comb, it's a different one, but it's intact, fully intact. So we're going to do that. We're going to use some just scissors, just some standard food grade scissors. But then for the back of the hair, we're going to bring out the big guns. That's what I said the last time in the food video, but it's true. These are the big guns. I guess I got this around New Year's, and I did upgrade. See, now I have this, the good one, right? It's called a Magic Clip Cordless by Wall, and this is really good for cutting the back of the hair. If you just want to, buzz it all off, you could just do that too. So we're just going to get into it. First things first, I'm going to just, get some water in my hair. So let's turn the sink on and let's start doing that. Just got to add some water. I think I'm going to pause the camera while I do that, so when I come back, my hair is going to be drenched, so stay tuned. Alright, I got that, got the water, in my hair for the most part, and now we're just going to start combing it. One other thing that you got to remember is when you're going to cut your own hair, it's going to be messy. You might, get some water on your clothes. You're probably going to get little hair clippings on various things. So dress accordingly. For me, going with my hair cutting kimono, which obviously everyone owns, and the dress shirt, believe it or not, this one is like an older dress shirt that I have. It's a little worse for the wear. It has some issues with it, so I don't really care if it gets, if it gets wet or whatever. It doesn't bother me. So anyway, now I just kind of comb it all down. Like so. Yeah, you can see I keep my hair much, much longer than I think a lot of people really think. Let's do that. Yeah, I keep my hair very long, actually. You can see. Because I like slicking it back. I always like having that length, that volume to it. I don't know, I'm just a fan. I just like it how I like it, It's what it comes down to. So you can see, though, that's how long my hair is, really. Isn't that something? So what are we going to do first? I think I'm just going to trim a little bit. As a matter of fact, you might say this is like really, really long. Oh, just chop it all off, Reviewbrah. Buzz it. Shave it. Rock the bald head. But I don't want to. I'm just going to take a tiny bit off. I really don't even want to cut that much off this. It's just a trim. Just a trim today. So I'll be careful with what I do, but again, no regrets. Whatever happens, happens, and no big deal. So let's just go for it. I'm going to be very careless, but again, I'm just doing what I want to do. Why not? Why the heck not? Okay. So just a tiny bit off here. There we go. Again, not even all that much. Got a little bit off right there. The thing is that you might be saying, like, some barbers, I bet, are just, like, cringing right now. I don't really care. Because everything blends together in the grand scheme of things, that's why. Just giving it a little bit of a trim. So this isn't the part that I'm really going to be cutting all that much, to tell you the truth. What I might do if this takes a long time is I'm thinking I might end up just kind of fast forwarding through certain things. There we go, it's a good cut. There we go. Because again, I'm kind of satisfied with the length here, so it's not like there's many things that I'm really interested in cutting. Like even right here, it's like, this is pretty good. Let's see what else. That's looking good. Scissors could be better, but it's fine. Gets the job done. When you have time to do it, don't really matter. It's like I don't need this done in 5 minutes or anything. Just kind of eyeballing it, just seeing what needs a little trim, what doesn't. See, like even that now, I'm fine with that. It's like I'm fine. It doesn't bother me. It's good enough. The stuff on the very top, I'm not really that concerned with. It's like, all right, that's fine. It's really more right here. That's more of an issue for me anyway. Because I intentionally leave the other stuff just really long. This stuff is where I'm kind of like, this needs a trim. Yeah. Good way to use as a vantage point is just kind of like your ear, you know, be like, yeah, okay. And this I could actually cut a lot of it off. And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be imperfections. It's like, it's not all going to be level. It's not all going to be at that same point. That's fine, you know? It's like, that's all good. There we go. There we go. Just a trim. Really, it's the epitome of that. Just a trim. And right here by the ear, that's where I cut a bit of it off. Just so it looks a bit neater. Yeah. There we go. All right. We got that side looking good enough. That's good. All right, now we go on to this side. Same type of deal. Kind of just, yeah, we go down, like that. The one tough thing is always trying to set it up good for the camera, because most of the time I'm just doing this like in the mirror, you know, I'm able to do it. When you have a camera, you got to make sure, all right, is it in the shot? Is it not? How's it looking, right? You have all these different variables that you have to factor in that makes it tougher, just because you have to make sure that you get it the way that you want it. Not only in terms of cutting it, but in terms of how people see it, you know, on the camera. On this side, I always cut a little bit more off than I do the top. And I'll tell you why, because this is more slicked to the side and back. This is kind of like straight back, you know, so you can afford more length on the very tippy top as opposed to this side. I know the hairstyle that I go with is like very archaic. It's fine, you know, I just go with what I go with. A lot of people, they sometimes say, like the part that I have, they say, oh, you know, maybe you shouldn't have the part. Maybe you should, you know, put the part a bit lower. Maybe you should kind of comb it to the side, more like a comb over, as opposed to just looking it straight back, because that might make it look a little bit better. Which is totally understandable. Again, if you're focusing just on hairstyles that are kind of popular right now, yeah, you know, this one isn't one of them. But over the years, I've experimented with that. There's a video that I did back in 2018. Actually, it was called The Evolution of My Hairstyle or something like that. One of those personal grooming videos. I was talking about that and I was saying, yeah, you know, my hairstyle has changed over the years. I mean, you know, you go back to 2011 when I was first doing my my channel. Go back then, watch my first video, and you'll see. Very first video that I did, haircut was a lot different than it is now. Wasn't really even styled to be anything. It was just like, I was just doing whatever with it. Then I evolved it, I started combing it, I had the part. I did have it a lot lower, actually. I didn't use the Brill cream or water, I just put this hair gel in it, called LA Looks hair gel. And it was terrible, to tell you the truth. It was the worst hair gel I've ever used, quite frankly. Just using the ear as that little benchmark, you know, once again. It was the worst hair gel that I'd ever used. It was so awful. It was awful on the hair, made it really tough to style, and it was just no good. Because it was alcohol based. It was like it made my hair into a helmet. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, some people had fun kind of touching it because it was like a hard hat, but it wasn't fun for me. Again, this side I always do a little shorter than the other one. And that's just how I do it. And again, it's always easier to do when you got this camera that isn't there. But we're accomplishing what we want to accomplish anyway, it's good. Speaking of problems, I could see that I'm almost out of battery on my phone, so I'm just going to go and get something real quick and then I'll be back. Alright, and we're back. I was only away from the camera for like a minute or two. I just needed to get the charger so I could just get the battery going, and now I could just film forever. Now I could just film indefinitely. Let's just leave it rolling until it grows even more, and then we could just cut it again and again and again. And, it was a bad joke. But anyway, yeah, so otherwise, the only other thing that I did while the camera was off is I just made sure, because otherwise it's one of those things that, because I have the mirror right here, that's why I keep looking over there when I do all this stuff, and I obviously don't have any mirror behind me, so trying to look at it, I can't really do that. So I was just checking here. I made sure that everything is evened out, but this side for the most part is looking good. Again, I'm not looking to cut everything down to like this level or anything. I just wanted a little bit of like an organizational trim. You can see right here again, it's just more, it's tidied up, really. That's the whole point of it, just to tidy things up. So we got the stuff on the top here. Again, really minimal cutting there. We got the side here, just basic organizational stuff. We got this part, and again, off camera, I kind of just gave, these further areas a trim too. So we got a lot of that stuff. And the one point that I was bringing up, that I think I expressed it, it's just like, when you're cutting your hair, especially when it's something that you're doing yourself, it's like you would rather, if you're prone to making mistakes, which I am, you would rather cut off too little as opposed to too much. So that's why it's like, hey, look, I'm giving myself a trim. Yeah, if I feel like I could cut it a little more, then I can do that later. But it's better to just cut the hair too little as opposed to too much. Which, case in point, as the grand finale, as they say, you're going to see what's coming next. So, while we're at it, let's wash the comb off. I have hair clippings all over the place, but that's good. It means we did what we're supposed to do. Now, for the heck of it, I'll just comb this a little bit. Make sure that it's styles correctly. Which, so far, so good. I'm liking it. Probably doesn't look any different, but again, that's really the whole point. I don't want it to look any different. I just want it, to just be manageable. Just again, a trim. When I say a trim, I mean a tiny bit off here and there. Yeah, this part in the front, and this looks good. This looks good. All right, good enough. Now comes the tricky part, the back. See, that's the last part. Save that for last. All right, you'll see this is really what I want, because you can see how it gets long back here, and then there's this whole area that's just a disaster. It's a nightmare, but this is where there's issues. This is where there's trouble spots. And what I want to do is I just want to trim it a little bit. And that's where those clippers come in. And we're going to be risky. We're going to be daring. And I said, you know what? When I do the video, whatever happens, happens. If I mess it up, I mess it up. I don't care. Besides, when I do most of the videos, you could only see this part anyway. That looks okay. I could shave everything off there by accident and probably wouldn't really notice. So that's all right. So we're going to get the electric clippers, which are right here. Plug them in. And we're going to go to town. I have a couple different blade guards here. It always does a good job, but you have to be careful with this one. Because the other one that I used to use, which maybe you remember if you watched the video I did from 2018, I was going to say 2016, was this old one, which did its job, but it was very, very dull. You could run it over the thing over and over and over, and it'll get some of the hairs, but it's not going to cut off everything it touches. This, on the other hand, will. So you have to be careful. This is not something you just want to go to town with. So the first blade guard that I use is the highest one, 1 inch. Because, again, especially with something like this, rather cut off too little than too much. Then I'll sometimes progressively switch it down to 3/4 of an inch and then to 1/2 inch in certain areas. And look, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to be doing this blind. And, hey, what happens, happens. If I mess it up, all good. But I just want it to be a little tidier, really. Check it every now and then in the mirror. Alright, wish me luck, guys. I'm going to do it. So, well, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. That's it. See, I could... little thing on the side there. Isn't that cool? I think it is. Alright, let's do this. I think that cut off an absolutely minimal amount, so we're going to switch the blade guard down to 3/4 of an inch. Let's just take a little bit of a gander here in the mirror and see. Yeah, see, this side especially, right here. That's where it's problematic. Alright, so now we will rinse and repeat. Let's do it again. This time, like you saw with the 3/4 inch one. Yeah. See, now the 1/2 inch one is what gets it. And that's where you run into some issues. But we're just going to do it and go from there. This is where it gets tricky. And this time around, I might just try it from this angle. I don't know. I'm just going to do that because I think you could still see it. So I'm just going to do that. And I can still see the mirror. It's going to be a little awkward, but it's fine. Yeah, it's not totally evened out, but that's a bit better. So that part is better. Bit better, anyway. Again, it needs to be evened out, and I'll do that off camera. And then we'll go for the rest of it. So let's do it. Yeah. That's a drawn out process. See, now what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to refine that. And that I'm going to do off camera. Because then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to position myself, get another mirror, and just kind of with the scissors and even it out in the back, make sure it's just nice and straight. Then eventually, just kind of shave the neck area. And then I'll be good to go. But as you can see, a little shorter in the back. Again, needs to be evened out, needs to be taken care of a little bit. But again, that's something that I could easily do. It's something that I'm going to do. And yeah, otherwise I'm pretty satisfied with it. I came in, I wanted to just give myself a little bit of a trim. Gave myself a little bit of a trim all around. Got some off the top, a little bit off the sides, a little bit more off the back. Gonna just refine that. And yeah, then we're set. So I think this was a success. Yeah, there's a little bit of issues here and there, a couple missteps, a couple spots that I missed, a couple things, or maybe I cut off a little more or a little less than I wanted to. Again, that's where just checking it, evening it out, doing all that stuff comes in, and I'm just gonna do that. But that's pretty much what we got. So I think I'm just gonna do that now, and then I'll finish it off with the final product. All right, and on a final note, I think everything is evened out. There you go. I mean, you still, there's a little cowlick back here where it always just likes to stick up for some reason. But overall, I mean, for an amateur job, just something to do in the bathroom like this, as some spare time, I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied with it, and definitely a bit more tidy and orderly at that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I just said, I really need a haircut. I really need to do this. And let's just keep the camera rolling while that happens. So, yeah, I know it might be a more boring video, but hey, look, if it helped you get to sleep, that's great. And, I mean, that's fantastic. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's all that I have, really. Cutting the hair with Reviewbrah at home, and just doing the usual. Thanks for watching, and take care. I'm your host, the Report of the Week, and I'm going to clean up all these clippings and get a change of clothes. Thanks, take care, stay safe, and stay healthy.